call the meeting to order at 3:30. Dan's not coming, is he, Nick?
He's supposed to be hopping on, yes. And
Okay.
I believe Conrad is too.
And who? And Conrad?
Conrad.
Okay. Well, we can start and I can get rid of some of the other stuff. So Sean McGinnis said he was supposed to come, but Dan, Conrad, and Mary Ellen.
Oh,
It's
here's
Conrad. And Mike. All right, so did everybody get a chance to read the minutes that Lynn sent? Our last meeting was March 4th. Holy crap, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Everybody got a chance to look at it? She sent it out twice. She sent it out again today, and I don't remember. I think it was like a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, everybody got a chance to look at it?
Yep.
Any questions, corrections? None? Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Stan? Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, yay, we got 2 things done. All right, where do we want to go? Where do we want to start here? I know that Lynn had, some of this stuff, let's see. All right. Update on finance, not financing, funding. That's probably on hold right now because of, what do you call it? Because of COVID-19. Okay, so, things are probably still coming in. Am I correct, Lynn?
I haven't had much come in lately, no.
Okay, I think people are figuring about other stuff, so that's pretty much ongoing. Heidi, you haven't been in touch with Dorina, have you? I would have to do the same thing. What are they doing for, do we know what the town's doing for zoning meetings? Are they having?
Yeah, they have posted for the Potter School zoning meeting, but they have not posted for the
Library?
library posting meeting. Potter School is May 20th, so I will be speaking to Dorothea. I've been in communication with her about that one, but I can certainly ask what
Yeah,
she...
just,
Yep.
if she could just let you know if it's even, I'm assuming that they're doing Zoom meetings, so...
No, so I know what's happening there. So as far as the Zoning Board of Appeals, is they are not inclined to do Zoom meetings. So we had 2 meetings scheduled in May for tomorrow night, actually for tomorrow night, and the 20th. And those have been put over to 2 dates in June, and they will be packed full.
Jesus.
So they'll be scheduled, that's assuming we're back then. So if there's an application in yet for the sign, but that should get in so that it can get up to Michelle Vieira so that it can get in the queue for the next meetings.
See, now that's kind of stupid because I think with that, all it is dimensions and give them a drawing and here you go.
Right.
That could be that doesn't, okay. Well, I guess there could be objections to it. All right, so if you could just relay that message to
I will find out because she needs to be told that it's, they must be communicating with her that we're not going to be going on. I assumed we'd get a Zoom meeting on May 20th.
So you're saying it's pushed to June?
I don't even know if it was on the schedule for May 20th.
It was published in the newspaper.
All right, I don't know why I didn't see that. So right now, the 20th is on until we hear from the governor, but the expectation is that he will likely extend that executive order.
Great.
We'll just wait and see over the next week and a half what happens.
Yay. Okay. How
I
about
think
Reed?
it's supposed to be out a couple more times. I think this was only the first posting, May 20th at 6. And it's going to be posted again May 6th, April 29th and May 6th.
So that's tomorrow.
Did you shut yours off? Yeah, so I'll check the paper again tomorrow.
Okay, so it'd probably be in the Chronicle as well.
Mhm.
All right. What about lead? Who takes that? Do you take that, Conrad, or do you get that, Nick?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Conrad.
Hi there. Nick and I have been exchanging emails with the green engineer and the commissioning agent over the last couple of weeks. And there were a couple of missing pieces to the application that went in that the commissioning agent needed to tighten up. I think the information is now in hand. I don't know why I'm getting a call right now. Sorry.
Because we're having a meeting.
I think the information is now in the green engineer's hand, and they're going to do a little back and forth with the USGBC. We're very, very close to gold. That's the issue. Is there's one prerequisite that the commissioning agent had to, dot the I's and cross the T's on, and then we're hopeful we can get one or two additional points that get us over that goal line for gold, which, obviously for the town has a financial piece to it as well. I think it's an additional 20,000 if we get gold. So we're very, very close. I'm hopeful, but it's now just a matter of the back and forth between USGBC and Green Engineer, and I think they have a 25-day review once the final information is submitted. So we're probably looking at June before we have a full resolution on what our final rating is, at which point I think you can go back, Lynn, to the MBLC and present the certificate and get the funding, the additional funding for that.
Okay. I don't think there's anything in technology.
Computers in. I believe the library now has some of the key fobs.
Yes, I think they went to the guy at the police department for him to program them.
Okay. Is that, what's his name? Steve?
Toby. No,
No, not Toby. Tony.
Tony.
Tony. Thank you, Tony.
One letter off.
Radio man. I know his email. It's better than I
One
know.
consonant off.
How many fobs did we end up getting?
We have Joe said we have a box with like 100 or something like that, but they're programming 25.
Okay. Okay, for programming. All right, landscaping.
Well, Conrad, I know you've been talking with G2. I don't know if you wanted to relay your conversations with them here. But GNR did end up giving us a revised price on this pathway we've been having issues with. So if you remember a couple months back, we got a price to pave it.
That was like 11 grand, right?
Yes. So they ended up giving us a new price that included a credit for not having to repair the path in its current state. And it brought the total price down to
It's like 9,900.
$9,665.
How much was it?
It was 11,000. So it was $11,993, and the revised price is $9,665.
And that's to pave it. That's to asphalt it, right?
Yes.
So we saved what, 2,000 something? 2,300 something?
Yep.
Did you say that was 9655?
9,665.
665.
That reduction in the cost is associated with a credit for not having to repair the current permeable path that's in place. So GNR still owes us that, and that's one avenue, is we can have them put in the proper material and do the proper compaction and get the proper binding for that path in place. I don't think anybody has confidence that that's going to hold up without some other measure of protection put in place. And in my conversation with G2, the landscape architect, they had been reaching out to a third-party contractor to see if they could get a better price on a swale, cutting in a swale to the, kind of the critical areas where we're seeing most of the runoff. That conversation with them has been happening at the same time that we got this revised price from GNR. I'm of the mind that that's just long-term going to be the best solution, is to go ahead and pave it and not screw around with trying to see if a swale is going to work, even though I think a swale would make a difference. Dan and I have been in touch by email over the last few weeks, and I think he agrees with me on the asphalt. So we were hoping we could get some approval from this group to direct GNR to go for it with the asphalt. They're chomping at the bit to close out the site work, and that's a piece of it. Ideally, they would do that work before they overseed the meadow. That's another piece of their final site work that they have to do, that they owe us. But it would be nice to have that path in place before they do any of the final seeding.
So what's that gonna, all right, so just out of curiosity, I guess in the short term, the paving the pathway or asphalting the pathway, whatever you want to call it, is probably going to fix the problem as it currently stands regarding the water runoff, and none of it will go into, there won't be any of the material that flooding down the embankment and into the street and on the sidewalk. What about like the winter time? Because it's a public building, I'm assuming that pathway is going to have to be plowed or snow blowed or whatever, correct? Yeah, Deb's shaking her head. So that's going to add.
Yeah, it's the accessible route to the building, which is required by code that you have from front door of library to the public way, an accessible walkway. So irrespective of what the material of the pathway is,
Right.
You're obligated to maintain it.
Okay, so they would have had to done it anyway. This will just might make it easier.
Yeah, I think the bigger issue with the asphalt is, ice, that, whereas the permeable paving has a little bit of grit to it. This is, asphalt will be a smoother surface, so it'll be more imperative that you salt it.
Right.
In terms of maintenance.
There is stuff washing away on there again.
Right. Yeah, we know that. They added some wattles to it to protect it, but there's one area where it's just coming through, and what happens is you get a little bleed of the water, and then it starts a little runnel, and then over time it just builds, and then it becomes like a canyon of it just collapses the material. Part of that is because the wrong material, or the not correct material, is in place right now. It's kind of a temporary patch, but again, it's a steep hillside, and I don't think any of us on this call have confidence that that's going to stay in place, even with the right material.
Right. Can that also be coordinated with the new swale put in also, though? Can G2 still do that?
It could be.
I still think you got to limit the amount of water that's going to be crossing over that path one way or another.
Yeah, I mean,
nice. Plus, you're going to get the washout.
Right. I can talk to them about that. I know they've been talking with a contractor separately. I want to say it would be around $5,000 to put in the additional swale. That's not GNR's price. That's a different contractor.
So now you're talking between the two. You're talking $14,565, almost $15,000.
If you were going to do both, yes.
If you're going to do both.
Sort of what you're talking about.
So you're telling me, so we go right back to the contingency clauses about how you can poorly design something and we still have to pay for it.
That's in part why you have the contingency. I mean, I can go back to GNR and ask them if they would be willing to contribute to that. There may be, that might be something they'd be willing to help with. I think they want to make right to the extent that they can, but I can't speak for them.
I mean, because you think about what G2 has caused with their different elevations and their layout. We've had that by the generator pad, off the generator pad. We've had that flooding in that area. Just poor workmanship.
Yeah, I think the generator area is kind of a different issue. It's flat, as we know, but their contention is that the micro grades of that area weren't installed quite the way they designed it. And I don't want to get into that they're not here, but the hillside's a different issue. And I think, to what extent the erosion is being caused because the hill hasn't fully established, is debatable. But I think, my understanding is that it's probably not the right application for the permeable paving that was put in the design. So I'm not going to argue with you. I think you're right. But as far as what they would be willing to help with in terms of your question about, paying for it, that's, the contingency does account for mistakes. That's what it's supposed to do. But they might be willing to contribute in this case. I can certainly ask.
Yeah. Can I speak?
I don't know.
Can you?
Doesn't sound like you can.
So, no architect is perfect, and I know we can say it's G2, but overall, we have to look at the design errors, and there are errors as a whole on a project. In this project, the design errors, Nick, I don't know if you have the percentages.
It's about 1.5%.
It's low. That's low for a public project to have design errors. The state requires you to carry 5%. You can't even go after a designer unless it's cumulatively over 6.5% to 7%. So you can go after them, but you won't get anywhere. And I'm sure your counsel would tell you that. So yes, it's unfortunate, but overall, we've got a really good project with a really small amount of changes. And this one's visible, so we all look like idiots. But the truth of the matter is, once you get past that path and you get inside the building, it's a beautiful building.
Right, but if it was in the back of the building, people wouldn't,
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? So
public perception.
I mean, public perception. I mean, just look at the fact about with the sign. The crap took with that sign. So
I get it. I thought you guys were going to provide magnifying glasses for the sign.
Yeah, well, we heard all of that, so don't worry about it. I've heard it all. So, all right. So I guess we have two issues on the table right now regarding the landscaping. It's the recommendation of what? Conrad and
I honestly believe it should have been paved a long time ago.
Right. I know you mentioned something to me back in November, but I mean, I couldn't speak for the. I
understand. I honestly believe it should have been paved from the beginning, only because it's just a long run. I'm not of the opinion the swales will stop it. I think that Bruce's concern about it undermining the lip of the path is a concern that can be mitigated, annually with just going over the path and checking the edges in the spring and making sure that it survived the winters. I think everything will get a lot better when it's fully grown. I agree with G2 on that too. So it's like we still have a little bit of those combinations of all of our arguments.
So we have to. All right. Do we have any money left?
I don't know. What do we have left?
Yeah, I haven't seen paperwork.
We haven't.
In 2 months.
We can post it up if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm posting it now.
Aha! Look at that.
So, all right. So
if we did accept the pathway, the change, we also got a revised bond cost, and then we still would like to add snow guards to the PV array. We still have $17,466. So we have.
Well, you don't have the sign in there, right?
No, I do not have the sign.
All right, because I think the sign was about $6,500.
$6,500. Okay, so we have $1,100.
$11,000.
$11,000. Sorry.
Don't get us that close, Nick, please.
Huh.
And we never really dipped too heavy into the state maintenance account either, which is pretty good.
that's Lynn's account, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have money.
So I'm almost wondering if we should take the sign.
Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Don't tell him.
Spent it all.
Do you have enough to pay for a sign?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do.
So if
Yeah,
necessary,
the
we
bid of
could use the, we could,
6,400 for the sign.
how much? 6,000?
6,400.
Right.
That's the
So,
current bid we have. I know we talked about a different height.
right, the lettering,
I
the
haven't
lettering.
gotten revised bill. I think we're going to be fine.
Right. So even if we said 10,000, oops, sorry. There's money in state aid for that, right?
I have,
We could, you
I have
have
money.
10,000, you have 10,000, at least $10,000 for a new sign from state aid.
I have about 30 times more than that.
No, you're not supposed to say that. You're just supposed
I
to
know.
say yes.
I knew that. I know. I'm Italian it.
Let's see the question.
Nothing for you, Pilata.
Thanks, Heidi. I love you too. I can tell you missed me.
Seriously, yeah. Okay. So then what we need to do is we need to vote on whether or not we want to spend the money to have the pathway or the walkway, whatever you're going to call that, paved with asphalt. Correct?
Yes, we need a vote.
But before we do, Before we do, can we revisit the issues that are going on in the back with the
Gabions or whatever they are.
the gabions and everything else, and
So,
around the palleted area?
so GNR is in the process of going through the site, cleaning up, fixing, the areas mentioned. The gabion baskets have been fixed. They have some cleanup to do right around the gabion baskets, but what is there right now is, all the pavers are in place and secure, and it's functioning as designed. And then next week with other landscaping repairs, where they need to add in some mulch, remove and replace plantings, add in new plantings, and continue seeding. So the outside of the building still has, some touch-up work to do, but it's in progress. Last weekend, they came on site and did a site-wide cleanup, removed leaves, raked out all the flower beds and things like that.
So GNR is doing this or G2?
GNR.
GNR. Okay, so they did the gabions, they did cleanup, they're going to replant and all that stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, they own replacing dead plants. So
Okay.
if there's one thing you have to admit, GNR has not wavered on correcting things that are clearly their problem. They kick, they scream, occasionally they scratch, but they do it.
Yeah, well, it's just, they're supposed to, otherwise,
I know they're supposed to, but you've got a long municipal career ahead of you. I hope you don't have to have a contractor where that doesn't happen, because it happens.
they all do it.
Can we just go back, since we haven't met for 2 months? Just to review what's happening outside around the generator. How did things, sorry, he doesn't know how to mute his.
I can't see it. That's why, because it's
You got to put your little cursor thing down and then it pops up.
So,
move your mouse down to the, and it should pop up down the bottom of your screen.
Peter, could you mute Bruce Brooks? Thank you. So can you just go back and talk about what was done outside around the generator, the digging for the pipes, the water in the basement, like all the outside stuff?
I was going to get to that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to get to that. We were just kind of talking about the pathway and the grounds now.
Okay.
I still want to talk about the flooring, and I still want to talk about the basement.
Okay.
I haven't forgotten that. That was going to fall up along the, construction update. So, but as far as landscaping, the removal and replacement of dead trees and stuff, GNR is responsible for that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because I know that there was one dead tree. I up near the compact, I think up near the compact cars parking area.
Yeah, there's a couple of those.
There's two,
bushes
yeah.
that- So those
Okay. Because I went by, I think, a couple weeks ago and I saw somebody working on the Gambion, so. All right. Okay. So they did clean up too. All right. All right, so I guess before we move on to the rest of the stuff, I guess we're gonna need a motion. What is it? Motion to approve
Yeah,
the expenditure.
of the paved walkway.
We need the final bond and general costs too.
That's the, oh, okay, so, right, oh, you need all of those things, right?
Yeah, if you want the snow guards to the PV array, yeah.
We don't have a firm price on the snow guards yet. I'm working with MV. They're having some difficulty finding a snow guard that's going to fit on the solar panels as installed. So we're still working through exactly what can be done in that area. So we don't have a firm cost on that yet.
Okay.
Well, that sounds concerning that they don't have a snow guard to fit that PV array.
So what we were going to do is put a snow guard, a brace, a bracket on the underside of each level of solar panels. The issue we have is they weren't installed to accommodate that, so there's not a big enough gap between the solar panels to put a guard in there. So we're looking at extending the guard at the bottom, or possibly a different type of snow guard that doesn't have to be fastened in between the panels. So I just got an email as this meeting was starting from them, so I have to do some work with them in coordinating. But it's not a huge issue. It seems like there's some solutions, just not the solution we originally presented.
But isn't it sliding off the face of the array and then over the bottom one?
So right now it's sliding from the array, and we have a snow guard beneath the array that is sliding right over. So we had proposed putting snow guards on top of the array, but with the way it's installed, it doesn't seem like there's a product that's going to fit correctly. So now we're looking at either extending the snow guard that's already in place, so when it cheats off the array, that'll catch it, or adding a snow guard at the bottom of the array to catch it.
Can that snow guard that's there now, can it get lowered closer towards the edge?
I think it could, but I don't think that's going to solve the problem.
Well, because I think sometimes you might be a little bit too close to the elevation of the array itself. If you lower it down, it'd have a better chance to stop after it goes past the array.
I think it'll have a better chance, but I think you'll still have some of the same issues. So it'll definitely catch more, but.
You're in my meeting.
Nothing that we propose can happen without the approval of Udenzello as the designer of the roof. You know, the moment on that snow flying down, if that snow guard is too tall, it might rip up the roof too. Do you know what I'm saying, Bruce?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure that we get calculations on this thing right.
Okay, so the snow guard is to prevent the snow from plopping on the outside reading area, correct?
No, this is just at the outside pathway back behind the transformer. Outside.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. If it slides off, oh, hi, Mary Ellen. You need to unmute you.
Hello there.
Okay.
Hi, Mary Ellen.
I'm going back to mute now.
So,
what will the snow fall on?
The generator, correct?
No, it's falling on the pathway in the back between the transformer generator and the building.
Okay, so that's the doorway to get into, right? That's the outside access to the basement.
Yes.
And you can't have the snow pile up there. Shit. Okay.
Well, yeah, the snow's just overshooting the guard that's there. When we designed the building, there was no PV on that front section of roof. We had only, planned it for the area that's back near the low porch. But then when we started talking with prospective PV installers, that, became clear that that front area was also a really favorable exposure for additional power. So we extended it there, and unfortunately that snow guard that's in place just wasn't designed to accommodate a higher elevation or a higher plane, which is, where the snow is settling on that PV itself. So it's just overshooting the guard, and it's a matter of, can we get a robust enough guard to kind of hold the snow there for a little while as it melts, as opposed to having it all just dump right onto the sidewalk.
Okay, and you don't have Nick, you said you don't have a cost, right? Or it
No.
just came in?
No, we don't have a cost yet.
All right. So basically we need to just, all right, so that will have to come up at another time. So what you need though is you need a motion for us to approve changing the pathway to asphalt and to pay the final bond and the GL insurance costs, correct?
Correct.
All right, so if we take out that estimate that you've got, the cost is, expenditure cost is $17,721. So we need a motion to approve $17,721 to change the pathway to asphalt and to pay the final bond costs. Do I have a motion? Is that you, Bruce? Do I have a second? Sean, second. All in favor?
You got to roll call the vote.
I got to roll call the vote?
You have to roll call the vote.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Because it's
Stan?
Zoom.
because it's a remote meeting.
Okay, Stan? Is that a yes? Stanley?
Yes.
Thank you. Heidi?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Sean doesn't vote. Mary Ellen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a yes.
It's
One
awfully
absentee.
smug look, Dan.
One absentee.
Awfully smug look over there.
Yeah, really.
One doesn't vote. Why doesn't Sean vote?
You don't vote. You're just a representative. Yeah, you are.
Okay. I'm a member of the committee. I'm not a rep like Deb or Dan.
Sean?
Yes. If I'm not a member, then why'd you take my second?
Oh,
Good
yeah,
point,
sorry.
John. Very good
Because,
point, John.
just stop. Jesus Christ. Can we mute Sean, please? Thank you.
Both have it.
You guys are killing me. All right, so the asphalt, when are they gonna start? Well, you guys will let me know when they're gonna start taking care of that, and you'll let Lynn will in turn let Sharni know, because I'm sure it's probably best to get it done while the building is closed, and then they won't have to deal with people coming and going.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do it within, I think they'll do it within the next couple of weeks. You'll see this happen quite quickly.
Okay, so, all right, is that it with the landscaping? So as far as the budget update and discussion, we've got what, about 11, I didn't write down, we had 17,000, right? Left in contingency once we took out the rest of that stuff?
Nick, do you have a full budget or no?
Yes. Here.
Oh, it's gonna be really tiny.
Oh, it'll be fine. That's the full budget?
I lose it.
So, just an FYI, the amount of, the changes 1 through 7, the contractor, wanted, 2.5, I think it was 2.5% for the bond. And we rejected that. You guys just approved the final bond costs. So if you add up all those numbers, you'll find that it was a lot less than 2%. So doing it the way we did it, not having 2% on every bond, on every change order, as like an automatic, but having it their rated amount from their insurance carrier saves you a few $1,000s right out of the gate. Just an FYI. All right.
Okay.
Okay. That's why I wanted to see the budget.
Okay. So it was actually less. The bond cost was actually less.
But by doing it the way we suggested, the bond cost probably paid for the pathway.
Okay. Okay.
I'd be interested. I'd be interested to know how they did it on the other project.
Okay, now we don't have any change orders, right?
No,
Change order 8 will be
these
with
two.
the bond and the pathway. So that was
Okay.
the final change order.
So that, all right, which we already approved. All right, so, all right, wait a
So-
minute. This pathway. And bond. Okay.
So that gets prepared, and will that be sent to Sean McGinnis for signature, or do you want to vote it again?
Well, no, we just approved it.
Yeah. All right. So we'll prepare the paperwork and have Sean sign it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that'll work. And so finally, construction update and discussion. All right, let's start with the flooring.
So the flooring in the community room is installed
Correctly?
correctly. The base is installed. All the repairs to the walls have been made. Myself and Bruce have both reviewed the floor, and we're comfortable with the installation. It looks much, much better.
Much better.
And this is where I apologize to Bruce and say he's right.
What just happened?
Did that hurt?
I'm glad I'm recording this.
That really hurt. I gotta tell
I
you.
can replay that all night long.
All night. It's recorded.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, you came out with the dark side on the path, so it's 1-to-1.
So,
Okay, excellent. All right, so the flooring. Let's go to the basement issue.
well, I think Nick and I don't know how'd you make out, Nick, talking to Jeff about, there was a leak in the small meeting area on the
What?
wall.
Yes.
It's supposed to be
So it
fixed.
wasn't coming from the conduit, or it was?
No. This is
No,
the
a
one in
new
the small
leak.
meeting room. It was on the wall by the window.
So it was unclear if it was a leak or a window was left open. GNR fixed it anyways. There was a bead of a small section of caulking missing on the outside of the sill. So it probably was a leak there. So GNR, fixed the leak, repaired the wall, and the flooring in that small room, there's some slight damage from where the leak came in. And right now I'm working with Jeff to try and get him to, repair the damage to that floor. The last I spoke with him earlier today, he didn't want to sand the whole floor and refinish the entire floor in that room. So he's consulting with, his flooring contractor to see if there's another method to repair that section of the floor. It's basically the floor is cupping a little bit and there's slight discoloration, but the sanding of it would, remove the cupping and
get rid of the coloration too. Discoloration will stay there. That's the problem too. And it actually get even worse.
We're ongoing with GNR. The problem is GNR is insistent it was an open window. We know that there was a small piece of caulk out.
And top paper.
Well, the top paper issue is a different issue.
But it was missing in that corner where they tried to caulk. So there was all bare wood right there in that corner of that window.
It wasn't missing, it was ripped. And it was installed there the first time. So we don't know how the tar paper, got, torn at that corner.
So
but they fixed the tar
just
paper.
like the floor and just like the path, We're working with the contractor to come up with a solution that you'll be acceptable with. You're 2 for 2, you'll probably be 3 for 3.
Trying to make it right, that's all.
We agree.
It can fall apart in 20 years. In 20 years, then it won't matter to me.
Sean will still come after me.
Yeah, really. Thank you. Okay.
Just remember one thing. Somebody told me a long time ago, you put your name in the building, anytime anybody goes in that building, they take a look at it, and if it's shit, they're going to blame you.
That's correct.
Oh, all right. So I'll get, hey, I have broad
Your damn
shoulders.
lot is a little
I've
bit
been
larger
abused.
than all the other ones.
I've been abused by a lot of different people. I don't care.
That's why I'm glad you put my name last. They can go down a ticker list. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, he's last. Well, he probably wasn't around.
Yeah, it's easier to sand your name off it.
Yep. Unlike the high school where my name's on it twice because that's a big stick you to a few people down south.
John. Anyway.
Come on, keep going before he hangs himself.
I'm glad he doesn't hold a grudge.
Oh, actually, I don't.
Not anymore. No.
Nope.
You don't hold it.
No.
You pound it all around.
Yeah, that grudge is 15 years older now.
Yeah.
All right. What about the basement?
So the basement, last meeting we told you we were going to dig up the conduit, find the leak in the conduit that was leading to the water in the basement outside the transformer. That work took place. They ended up removing the conduit from the last joint into the building to the last joint of the transformer, replacing it and rerouting it so that they put in out of the basement, they put in a 90-degree elbow to go straight up so that the water that was getting in from theoretically the transformer area where it's ponding, if it were to break again, you're not going to have a direct line from that transformer area to the basement. So they rerouted the conduit, sealed it. Since they've done that work, we have not had water in the basement. It's been, I think, a little over a month now.
Yeah, we've had some rain.
We've had a lot of rain.
Well, yeah, I've got the water leaking out in the street there, so.
So right now we think we're good on the water in the basement. And they still have some repair work outside by the transformer to do, regrading it a little bit and putting all the plantings back in and addressing the pathway. But that area is close to being finished off. So it looks like we are pretty much closed out on that issue.
Okay.
Would you agree, Bruce?
I would agree, finally.
And the only thing remaining there is they have some cove base to reinstall in the basement that they're holding off on putting in until the water was out. So Jeff is working on getting them to come in and install that as well.
Okay.
So Nick, when they redid the piping, then they didn't have any more crossovers and stuff like they had?
Nope, no more.
Because that put a lot of extra pressure on that pipe. Put the weight on there. So, good.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. The shed.
I would suggest we just take Lynn's money and send her off to have what's her name go out and pick out a shed and do it. And don't do it through GNR. Don't do it through us.
Right. Okay.
Just to get it. Let him go out there and pick out what he wants and
Can I just make one request? Because I see heartburn.
Is that where your name's going to go? That your plaque is going to go in the shed?
No, my plaque is on the septic system. So
Where it belongs.
I think that whatever she picks, if she could run it by Conrad, just so that we try to make it have some sort of semblance towards the building.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's the gentleman on
I'm not asking for
not Crossroad, Chase Road. Huh?
I'm not asking you to do a custom design shed, but some of the sheds will look good there and some of them really won't.
No
What's the name of this guy?
No Lowe's, no Home Depot, because that's
No, it's the guy that does the sheds on Chase Road, Sean. Just after Madeiras.
that's
Is it Costa?
no Brito, Armando Brito. He's a tree guy.
Conrad, those are all board and batten sheds, pine, so they gray right up.
Yeah,
What's his first
I'm
name?
not going to be choosy, but Lynn, if you want to share some options with me, I'm happy to look at them with you.
What about
Zuba?
I was gonna say Zuber.
What about Zuber
On Old Fall River Road?
Old Fall River Road?
You should always have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go with a shed, I mean, let's put it this way: you don't want to go to Walpole, because they're expensive, or some of those other ones up around the Boston area that build, that come in and bang sheds out. They're a little on the expensive side. You also don't want Lowe's. You also don't want Home Depot because of the particle board, and that's just all crap.
Junk.
As I found out. Zuba, I think is, I can't remember the name of it, but Zuba does, his sheds look quality. Whether they are or not, that's something that needs to be looked at. What more you really want to be more interested in is the flooring of the shed. You don't want particle board. You don't want, you don't want plywood that's been puzzled and glued together.
OSY board.
Right.
Because it will come apart as you're dragging things. And
right.
Yeah,
The guy on Chase Road is all pine. I'm sure a couple of my trees have finally made it into one of his sheds at some point in time that he took down. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, he takes down pine trees. That's why he's so cheap in taking down trees, especially if they're pines, because he'll cut them into board length and then haul them away and then use the board length and then sell you the shed back. So.
Okay. So, other than that, do we have anything else? I think those were all the things. Am I correct, Heidi? Those were the other things you wanted, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Do we want to discuss the grand opening?
Yeah, you pick a date.
I'm sending you a number for Zuber sheds.
It might be a year later.
Okay.
We'll just table that for now.
Sean, what was the gentleman's name on Chase Road?
I believe it's Armando Brito. Let me just double check. I'd give you his phone number, but the last time I tried to call him, yeah, right.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, Armando Brito. It's the phone number I have is 508-525. 2956. That was the last number.
Say that again.
508 525 2956.
Okay.
Because the last time I talked to him, he had a stroke.
Oh.
And he had his guys working, but from my understanding, he's back. So he's back doing his crazy tree stuff.
Okay. Anything else? I would imagine at some point we'll have to call another meeting.
Yes.
So when do we want to call it?
Well, let's set it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
gotta be, might as well give it a little bit more time because where the landscape can get all done first. Nick, would they say? Conrad, 3 weeks was it? Maybe 4 weeks.
Well, so they want to be starting with the repairs next week. The asphalt pathway will extend that a little bit. So you're probably looking at 3 weeks until that's all done. 4 weeks.
Yeah, while we've been meeting, I've been emailing with GNR to tell them they've gotten the approval for the path, so they're going to get back to us with a schedule in the next couple of days.
So are we talking June 2nd?
Go June 9th.
Town meeting is,
Go
if
June
it
9th.
happens.
Town meeting.
I go to the following week.
Okay, the 9th. It's a Tuesday. Is a Tuesday all right? I mean,
What is the plan for town meeting?
it's supposed to be the 2nd, correct?
Right.
Yes. They haven't canceled it or changed it yet.
Not yet.
Is there discussion about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we had a department head meeting yesterday.
So when we look at the library budget for town meeting, did you need to put in for an additional personnel, or are you all set to include additional personnel so that the library open will have more hours?
I don't have a new position. I have a vacant position, but right now there's a hiring freeze.
Right.
And I believe I'm going into next fiscal year with this current budget, you know, I don't think anyone's getting anything extra.
No, I can't. No, I don't see how that's going to happen. There's a shortfall, I guess, or there'll be a deficit.
No. There's no shortfall.
Okay, whatever.
No, it's a hiring freeze and everything's being
Right, it's going to be,
level as
it's
it is.
level funded, is that the term?
close to level funded.
Right, so,
Not
and
totally.
as it pertains to the library, that means there probably will not be any increase in hours at the new branch.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Everybody's being fiscally conservative.
correct.
That's unfortunate.
I think that'll change by the fall.
Yeah, it might.
Then you'll know what you're getting out of the CARES Act money from the Commonwealth. And
Yeah, but unfortunately, the COVID-19 money is a one-time thing. So that'll get you some capital outlay that you weren't expecting to. But other than that,
well, I'm assuming that you have some expenses this year related to it.
oh yeah.
That's eating into your ability to maintain.
So far, we're on the revenue side, we're doing pretty good. It's not great shakes. The only thing that really kind of gives us the weird numbers is when the state reports what they take in meals tax and motel hotels. You know, they're kind of usually late with those numbers. But and of course, the biggest part of any municipality, the biggest part of the revenue is the excise tax. You know, so.
And that was due in February.
Well, they announced that the T's 830 million in the hole, yet they're only 212 million down on revenue. Don't ask me how that math works, but I got a feeling that there's not going to be too much money coming to the cities and towns.
No.
I think your aid number is going to be cut drastically. Just having gone through it in 2008, you remember 2008, it was 20%.
Yep.
I think you're going to see equal or greater than that.
Well, give something those
And
talking heads up in Boston to kind of screw it around to everybody else. But
the 112 budget thing doesn't really help if you have bond payment due in the first 12.
right.
So anyway, I'm talking.
Should we meet the week prior to slated town meeting, just in case they decide to postpone town meeting by a week?
So
Then
that would
it'll be
the
chasing us.
26th.
If we're
That
gonna
would be after Memorial Day.
if we're gonna postpone town meeting from the 2nd, it'll be at least 2 weeks, if not 3. It won't be a week.
Don't we have to make sure it's done before June 30th?
I don't think so.
There's supposed to be legislation coming out of Boston to extend the fiscal year. The
Oh,
only thing that's given us a hard time right now is FEMA with the approval on the maps for the wetland maps
Firm.
that they want, and they're just saying, well, we understand the COVID-19, but these maps have to be approved by July 8th. Really? Come on, guys. You know, so they're the only ones that are really being pain in the butts.
Sean, there's legislation in to allow the select boards to approve that instead of town meeting. So that may change,
Right.
make it easier.
So
I love an outdoor town meeting with the chairs 6 feet apart myself.
In the rain.
the thing is that we're already getting word from some of the town meeting members saying that even if we go to town meeting, they're not showing up because of this. So, I mean, and I don't think we want to have 400 squares on a screen, for town
No,
meeting.
but you could do it. You could do it in the middle school.
Not if you have to take a roll call vote
No.
You just,
Exactly.
well, yeah, roll call vote.
for
Well,
Pallotta.
everybody wears an orange thing on their head, kind of like this, telling you're a town meeting member. And then you sit 2 spaces away.
I know a few people where that would be an improvement.
I'm not touching that one.
All right. I'm going to leave to get to my next meeting before it
Okay,
gets
thank
really
you.
bad.
All right,
Yeah,
I don't want to
so,
be a party
We
to
have
that.
to do a roll call to adjourn.
shit.
You don't have to leave on my account.
Well, no, we're about done. So we'll leave the meeting on Tuesday, June 9th. 3:30? Is 3:30 a good time?
Yep.
Or,
Are we
Yeah,
doing
we're
the Zoom? We're assuming it's going to be Zoom,
oh
right?
yeah, most likely it will be Zoom.
All right.
At 3:30. Okay. Actually, I like Zoom meetings. Sorry. All right,
so.
Stan, motion to adjourn. Who's gonna
Yeah.
give me the motion?
Motion.
Second.
As long
Was
as
that
we have to
Heidi
see
and
Stanley's foot.
Mary Ellen?
Heidi and Mary Ellen. Okay, wait a minute. Stanley.
Yeah, just
Okay.
remember that
Bruce.
the
Stan, is that your foot in the camera?
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Mary Ellen.
Yes.
All right, and Heidi said yes, and I'll say yes. So meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. It was nice seeing everyone.
See you.